guys, welcome back to the Home and Homestead. My name is Rebecca, and today on the Homestead we'll do a cook with me while I make some sloppy joes. If you watched my previous video, I showed you how I make my homemade sloppy joe mix. Together we're going to use that homemade sloppy joe mix to make some delicious sloppy joe sandwiches. I'll show you what combination of ingredients I use, and you'll see what other homemade ingredients that we made together that can be used to make this delicious meal. So follow along while we make some sloppy joes. So first what we're going to do in this pan is we'll put it to medium-high heat, and we'll add 1 pound of ground beef. This is beef from our cow. You should get a half a cow. You could also do ground chicken or ground turkey. And I like to use a meat masher to kind of separate out this ground meat. Now what I'll do is I will brown this ground beef until there's no more pink. Alright, the ground beef is nice and brown. There's just a little grease in there. I'm going to leave that in. If you have excess grease in your pan, you can drain some of that off, but you want a little bit of liquid because now we're going to add some dry ingredients. So I'll add about 1/4 cup of the homemade sloppy joe mix seasoning and a little over a tablespoon of brown sugar. If you like your sloppy joes a little more savory, you can leave the brown sugar out. If you like it a little sweeter, just add a little more. That's what's great about using homemade blends of seasonings rather than buying the pre-made packets and things, which certainly are handy to do, but if you make your own, you can totally control that flavor profile. So now we will add about 1 cup of ketchup sauce, or you could do a tomato sauce with some tomato paste as well. If you watched my video on ketchup 2 ways, we prepared ketchup and canned this, and the ketchup sauce that I'm using today is the Mrs. Wages ketchup from that video. Now we'll just heat this through and then we can eat. So I just did a single batch today, kind of a smaller batch, just to show you the process of how I make my sloppy joes. You could certainly double up, which is what I usually do, or make a really big batch, and then you can keep this warm in a slow cooker and just keep enjoying your sloppy joes throughout the day. So now I'll just turn this down to a low heat until we're ready to eat. Now in the oven I have a batch of homemade baked beans. Keep watching and you can check out a video on my baked bean recipe. I did baked beans 2 different ways again, and I canned that. And I used some of my baked beans that I canned and made a little more of a molasses and ketchup sauce and threw that in the oven, and that'll be baking for about 45 minutes. And that'll go really well with some sloppy joes. Also your favorite potato chips or perhaps a pasta salad, and then you have a meal. So let's head over and I will show you how the sloppy joe mix looks on a bun for our sloppy joe sandwich. Oh my gosh guys, the kitchen smells so good. We have baked beans, bacon in the oven, and the sloppy joe meat mix here. So here I have some homemade hard rolls or Kaiser rolls. I will cut one open here for you. Nice and soft in the middle. Let me cut this one too. I'll get some sloppy joe mix on here. And there you go. Delicious homemade sloppy joe sandwiches. Again, if you'd like to check out my recipe on the homemade sloppy joe mix seasoning, you can check out that video and I go over step by step how to make that seasoning mix. And I also have a free printable on my website in the description box below for both this video as well as the seasoning mix video itself. Well, I hope you enjoyed our time together in the kitchen while we made these delicious sloppy joe sandwiches. You can pair these with your favorite potato chips, pasta salad, or like we'll be doing today, some homemade baked beans. Well, I hope you're having a fantastic day. If you're new to the channel, I sure would appreciate you subscribing. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. See you next time. Take care.